Hi everyone, we are back with another episode of Toonz Talks. When you think about a successful IP animation, what are the most important things that come to your mind? Storytelling, great characters, great ideas, uh, great star cast, and lot many things that make a successful IP. But one very important thing that we all maybe not discuss much about is the financial aspect of it. The budgeting, keeping the budgets tight, hiring the right talent, making sure you're not going overboard with a lot of many things. Uh, so we thought, why not do something on this particular aspect of production of filmmaking. We have someone who can throw a lot of light on this particular aspect of production, Mr. Karthik V Kumar, the Director of Finance of Toonz Media Group, here with us. Welcome to
Thanks.
Toonz Talks.
Thanks for the introduction, Anish. No, it was very flattering, and I hope I'll be able to throw more light into it. But let's see how it goes.
No, I like I said, when we were preparing for this, I said that I would have a confession to make before we start.
What exactly is that? I heard that's something which is out of the blue.
No. When I was doing
don't say that some cost went over.
No.
That's the last thing which I want to hear.
No, that will come. That will eventually come. I'll put you in a spot for sure. But when I was doing my MBA, we had this accounting and financial management subjects in the first and second semester. And I was just telling the guys that the only time that I got the balance sheet to tally was in my university exams. Before that, I have constantly not able to get anything.
Crack it through. Okay.
So I want to tell my professors that I finally made it. That I'm interviewing a CA here right now.
No.
So,
thank you for this. Kind words. Yeah.
So my first question would be: you come from a very energy consulting sort of a background.
Yes.
You have worked with KPMG and then Shell. So how different is it? Like, had you ever imagined that you would be in this chair where you're leading a big 360-degree media house from a finance perspective?
The first question, I believed it should be something which is light, but yeah, thanks for putting me in a spot like this. Yes, there is a lot of stark differences between the entertainment industry. I mean, if you see my career, also one has been into auditing, consulting. First I started off with KPMG, then I moved to Shell, which is like pure manufacturing, energy, core, oil and gas business, and then now down to very creative industry. To be very honest, I never imagined. Okay, this is something where I would be. But yeah, there's a lot of differences between the previous kind of industries where I worked and with Toonz right now, because if you see specifically into auditing, consulting, or in terms of Shell, I've spent most of my career with Shell. It's more organized, structured, well paced, it's always black and white there.
Yeah.
Down here, it's gray. It's various shades of gray. It's not even gray. It's various shades of gray. So from an economic model perspective, it's more or less the same. How I would like to take it is like so this is, if you look at a surface level, if you look at the top layer of things, you see a lot of difference. But if you go deeper, 1, 2, 3 steps down, it's essentially the same. It's very much the same. How I would like to term it is like it's same math but different magic. That's all it is. So there are a few things which is very fundamental for any kind of business proposals or business valuation or business transaction. So I would say 5 key principles. First, you have to understand what drives value in any of these deals which you pick. What's the real value sitting in? Second, what drives your cost? Because at the end of the day, your cost matters a lot.
Right.
The third thing is, what are the risks? That's the key theme or key three premises that you have to understand for anything. It's whether it be in energy business, whether it be in manufacturing, whether you're consulting for somebody. This, if you understand in any transaction these three key pillars, then the half of the problem is done. The second two layers, what I understand is cash is oxygen across any business,
Any business.
and it's very relevant for our business as well. Third thing, whatever assumptions you're taking to manage the risks, you have to revalidate it every point of time. Let's say you're looking at a particular model, and this is industry agnostics. These fundamental principles is industry agnostic. If you look at, so I had one of my seniors in Shell who taught me this, like, assumptions are like expiry dates in milk packets. You have to keep checking them every single day or you land up in some hospital. So whatever assumptions that you're taking for an evaluation, you have to keep revalidating that. That goes very much for this industry, because being relevant, what are the assumptions you're taking when you're most of the times the gestation period is quite long. So whatever assumptions you have taken for these deals has to be revalidated, and the models has to be tweaked every single time. So if you see in from this perspective, it's whether you are into energy, whether you're into consulting, it's always the same math, just different forms of it. I would call it different magic.
The balance sheet has to tally.
Yes. Going more than balance sheet, the overall economic structure should make sense to you any given day. That's something which is as I said, is industry agnostic. So
true. Okay. So a very simple question. So what is, or what has been your favorite animated or cartoon series, movie, whatever it's, or favorite character?
Oh, that's a very tricky question. Okay, because of late, no, I've been watching a lot of cartoons because I had to. But my all-time favorite is Pop, of course.
Ah, okay.
For some reason,
that's a nice choice.
Yeah. For some reason, I like. I mean, the cartoons where they have some bit of foundational values and stuff. And always, like, I'm much of a music person, so I really like that intro song where the professor spills chemical X and boom, it goes. So that's very captivating. It's very interesting. So that's that. It's a show which I grew up watching it. So
no, yeah, I think that was probably one of the golden times
of Cartoon Network. Yeah. Then there were like a lot of other shows like which was there. Like there's a plethora of memory line is there. Like you had Johnny Bravo, you had Popeye, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, all those were my favorites. And then going up to SWAT Cats. You go somewhere into something like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z. These were like this and all this yeah. Let's have a seat. So all this were like, the theme songs in them. Even still, if you ask me any given day, I can sing that songs. Like, yeah, even like Bob the Bill. It just rhymes in your head sometimes. So yeah, those were my favorite cartoons. But of them, best one was maybe Powerpuff Girls, and yeah.
No, it's a fantastic. Means yeah, like I said, it's the golden age of animation for us, at least the
nostalgia. It's a lot of nostalgic spots.
So moving forward, so how has the business changed? Maybe like because Toonz, when we started off in 2001, the structure or the overall industry was different. Then we moved a bit. We brought in a lot of changes, at least from an Indian perspective.
True.
And then it has evolved a bit more.
Correct.
And now we are at a stage wherein we barely identify the industry right now.
Correct.
So how do you see the changes? Like how do you see it from a very positive angle, or how do you see it going forward from now?
So I think a couple of weeks back, I was having this conversation with one of the senior executives of a well-established international animation company. So we were supposed to meet for the first time. So the first sentence that she dropped was like, "This is an exciting time to be, and is also a very scary time to be." So my take on this is like every industry goes through certain cycles. Like there's a peak and there's a trough. There's a peak and there's a trough. So across the industry, the sentiments is that we are going through a trough, the lower part of the curve right now. Uh, do you want to, or do I personally believe that? Partially yes, partially no. Uh, Again, there is two school of thoughts around this. One is like where this is a trough, so probably after this cycle is over, then people are going to start pumping money and the industry is going to revive. That's one school of thought, which could be true, which generally every industry goes through that. Even longer cycles, petroleum, I mean the energy industry also goes through something similar, where if you see, you have oils like at some ranges always, and then suddenly it peaks up. Post COVID there was a very high, and those kind of things were there. Similar thing could be there, but what I see, or what I personally believe, is that this trough is like, could be caused due to two specific factors. uh, Again, this is a wild thought. So one, it could be that there is, compared to the past, there is no distribution scarcity. You have multiple platforms where you can launch content. You can have, like, it's just not slots in TV anymore. It's like you have multiple platforms, fast, everything coming up, where you can
Avenues to consume content.
Yes, rather I would say to push content
Push
to the
content as,
audience. From a business perspective, it's like getting your content in front of audience. But there is attention scarcity.
True, absolutely.
And we are like competing not just with multiple, like let's say we had multiple channels in the past, then we had multiple platforms. Today we are even competing with doom scrolling.
True.
So that's the level of attention scarcity that has come in. That's one factor. And hypothetically, I also feel the intervention, or the the AI which is coming in is also creating a belief that, hey, if I can produce content for $100 per minute now, why don't I wait for a couple of months and see if I can produce it $20?
$20, true.
So there's a scenario where your cost of production can go down significantly. At the same time, there is like too much of content. That could be the reason for this trough. Could be. Again, this is a hypothetical scenario. But can we ignore these things? No. As a business, we need to understand the macroeconomic factors that's driving it, and what's the solution for this is only innovation.
You have to
adapt and embrace. And I keep saying to my finance team as well, why AI is different. So across the human, the evolution, we had a lot of inventions. Let's take a light bulb, for example. So we have a light bulb. We invented the first light bulb. Then it sits there, and then it goes off, let's say, in 2 months' time. The lifespan is just 2 months' time. You need a human being to sit, think, analyze. Why is it just 2 months? Can't it be a year? Can't it be 5 years? It requires a human intelligence or effort to improve it. But on the contrary, what's the thing with AI? It's so unique, is that's the first invention in the entire human race or human mankind which can self-improve itself. And this change is across all the industry. It's not just here at Toonz, it's not just animation, it's everywhere, and we have to be prepared. That's one thing which we needed to understand. Now, if you were to look at how we navigate this, that's the second part of the question. We have to relook at, if this is the case, why the industry is running low. First, we have to innovate, for sure. Second, the existing models, like going into TV linear first, might not work in a time where there is where you have to compete with even doom scrolling. We have to maybe relook at the model. How does that fit in? And then kind of reinvent the model where we should have a different go-to-market strategy. If I have to put it in from very financial or typical startup term, that's what it is.
So, like I said, I think one thing that you mentioned is you have to adapt.
Of course.
And it's not about AI eating into our job. It's not that.
Correct.
It's more about us adapting to how we can utilize AI in our day-to-day operations, right from maybe, let's say, a background or a BG or post or whatever it
Correct.
is. It could
Correct.
be from there till maybe how we can use it in post-production. So it's basically everywhere, and
Correct.
it's not about AI coming after your job. It's about how you can use AI to make
Exactly. It's
your
fun.
work more efficient and productive.
Yes. It's about changing ways of how you work.
Right.
That's all. So if we adopt changes, yes, we will be able to leverage many things. If not, typically what would happen, and again, this is industry agnostic, it's happening
Hmm.
across. What would typically happen is that there would be few major players who have done that at a scale and evolved. Okay.
Right.
And there the rest of it would just mellow down and be pushed. We can see that, for example, this OpenAI
Hmm.
was able to compete with Google in such a
Short
short
time.
period of time, because of that's the power of AI.
Yeah.
So there are changes out there like that, so we should also be trying it, is what I feel.
True. Absolutely. No. Like I said, it's here to stay for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned about digital first IPs. So, is that something that, as a company, we are focused upon, and how? Okay, will it totally replace a linear first approach for us, or is it something that it's more strategic and we will look at it from a case to case basis? How,
uh,
like,
it
or what's
yeah
how are we going to approach this?
yeah, so there again, so if we have to look at it, the overall theme, see, what we are trying to achieve by digital first is being data driven.
Hmm.
There was a time when I think particularly this industry was not too focused on data points.
True.
It has come to a time where data should speak for itself.
At least from an Indian perspective,
We never
we
thought
never
about
had
it.
a reliable data point.
Yes,
We
yes.
had a data point, but I don't think it was
Correct.
a reliable one.
Correct.
As a
So typically now broadcasters are looking for, hey, this is a lot of investment or capital that goes in. How assured can I be of the returns? It's not just about the ROI, it's just about your risk factor, your variance factor that creeps into each of those investments. That's what each broadcaster or each investor is concerned about. They need more assurance. How can you give them more assurance? We have to work on a scale which we used to called BPS. You build, you prove, and you scale. It's a typical startup kind of thing where you go in small, where your investments are like very little. You prove with traction, and then you scale. Is it easy? No, never. The IP that's no, and again there you have to look at uh, what studios do today is they look at shows. They pitch shows. For some reason, I feel that it's not going to work anymore. We have to show the investors or broadcasters a whole monetizable system. That's what I believe we should pitch. Rather than limiting to a show, we should see how an entire franchise could be built around it. And if you look at any large successful IPs, most of the revenues, I would say, comes from L&M licensing and merchandising. So if your audience are fragmented, but the moment you fragment your IP, it has a very less chance of being picked up, unless it's like a Bluey or Peppa Pig, which has already proven itself. So
and Miss Peppa Pig is a great example, because
Yes.
I've means we have read about this. It took them 8 years
Yeah.
to reach, means
Correct.
to get a head start where they are right now. From then onwards, there has been no looking back.
Correct.
And
So there again, do we need to have all Peppa Pigs? No.
no,
But at least one, not even a Peppa Pig, at least 20% of a Peppa Pig, yeah, that does wonders.
True.
So that's where digital first really matters sometimes, But again, if you have to ask me specific formats, is that's the only format? No. It it depends on what what the investor or what we really want if we are investing. It depends on what's the outcome that we are trying to achieve down here. There are different formats, different ways, but the fundamental fact from a finance point is if you don't structure it according to the model that you want, your costs, your formats, and this is all pervasive, because it can't be just, you can't just limit it to structuring the costs. It starts all the way from designing. If let's say if you have to go a digital first approach, and if the character has hair and fur, it adds costs. So it's not just, it's across the pipeline. You have to strategically think and then tweak the costing accordingly, so you are able to deliver the value. What the key things, what I said, what's the value, what's the cost, what's the risk. So all this happens across the pipeline. It's just not, it just not sticks to one place. It's very tricky, it's very complicated. I thought this was pretty simple, but yeah, no, it's very complicated.
What would be a, let's say, I would say an advice to the studios, let's say, who are starting out, or I wouldn't say who want to create their own IPs. What would be your advice to in structuring such IPs together, or just the from a very financial perspective? How would you? What would be your advice to them?
So it's too early for me to do that. To be very honest with you, I've not been in this industry for very long, but from what I've experienced and what I've understood, and like structuring a couple of deals, and also bits of my hands into understanding the financing part of the production. Two key things. One, as you said, your model, whatever your financial model, should reflect the reality of what you want, what your outcomes are, basically, which is the value. You need to clearly understand what drives value in this whole whatever deal that you're doing. What's the value chain, whether it be service, whether it can be co-production, it can be pure investment, whatever it is. You need to clearly understand, and you need to articulate in your mind where the value is. You need to have very clear understanding of the costs, whether my value versus costs matches. What are the risks on the way that can tip the balance off between value and your cost? And then you need to figure out models, which is like, hey, I have an IP, I will build a show for 52:11, I'm going to just pitch it to broadcast. That doesn't work anymore, unless it's like superb. Everyone buys into
things
it.
Unlike,
that rarely, it's once in a blue moon kind of stuff. So that I let's be very realistic. So the modeling when I say is not the animation modeling. How you model the deal is very important. The financial model, plus when I say financial model, I'm not limiting it to, as I said, the previous example, you have to start from each stage of it. That's super important. Operationally, what I feel is pre-production is your superpower. I see a lot of studios where they typically burn money is on the production. Wherever they burn money on production, it's 50%, 60% of the time, or even more than that, based on the wrong decisions that you have made in your pre-production. So pre-production is your Superman, Superwoman, whatever it is. You invest right talent, right amount of resources, right amount of time in these phase, it ends up avoiding a lot of pitfalls and costs in your production.
Forward,
that's super important. Third thing that every studio has to keep in mind in this industry, this is where complexity comes in. It's people driven. The single factor which drives down your profitability is time. Let's say I have 10 resources I can deliver in like 10 weeks. The moment every day after that it slips, my profitability drops by a certain percentage. That's fundamental. So when you say, hey, it's a few days here and there, it doesn't matter. You have to match the output with the time. The more the time you slip, more the schedule you slip, it adds severely to your costs.
Your billing cycle is effective.
Billing cycle in terms of cash, but more than profitability just goes for a toss immediately. So time is essential in this. So these three key factors I would advise. I mean, it's not an advice, rather that's what my reflection is. These are the key things that which you need to keep in mind when you are starting off some project, which is super important.
So yeah, now I'm going to put you in a spot.
Don't tell me that this budget goes. That's
No. It's
don't
a bit more
don't
simpler.
give me a heart attack with overshooting budgets, please, man. Yeah, rest anything you can put me on.
We have been in meetings together with creative people,
Okay.
right? We have sat
Okay.
in the meetings
Okay.
where ideas just flow,
Person, yeah,
ideas they just go wild with ideas, right? We'll
Absolutely.
do this, we'll do that. So from when you're putting, like, when you're discussing your budgets, or when you're putting together all these things, how do you keep check on creativity going overboard? And because I know this is a very
It's
creative
very-
industry,
yeah,
right?
that's what I-
you
that's
have,
what-
you are in a
Yeah.
spot, right, where you need a good product,
absolutely.
but uh, the moment it just goes overboard, it becomes a strain on your budgets,
Absolutely.
on your schedule, on everything. So how do you keep everything in check?
Ooh, it's a very tricky question. So if I were to say, creative freedom, if I were to call it, and I would like to call it that way because, yeah, creative freedom should be the goal of every entertainment company. That's because that's
the
your
bottom line.
bloodline.
Yeah.
But the financial discipline is the pathway.
You have to walk on that.
This coexists. This has to coexist. If neither one of is there put in place, structure would collapse. That's the bottom line which it is. So finance as a function should be more like, it shouldn't be like a typical police department policing people. Rather, it should be like your GPS tool in the car. It should just say,
this is the direction that you need to go.
yes, and we should say that, hey, you're gonna go overboard. And the most important thing is, like, again, it comes back to the point of pre-production. You need to invest your direction at the time of pre-production. Let's call it out. Hereford doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to find ways around it. If not, we'll go cost overboard. So cost will go overboard. So that's one specific example. But like this, it's not unidirectional, but it has to go hand in hand. So we need to have guardrails like what we have here, or else you will slip and fall in the pond. That's what it is.
It's a great analogy. Like,
Yeah,
it is like a
it's just
GPS.
something,
It is a
yeah.
GPS where it's like a guide to
Absolutely,
reach your
absolutely,
destination.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. No, it's a great.
But to be honest, I'm having a tough time doing that.
No, it is because
there's no limit to creative expressions. It just goes off. But then your heart goes pounding, dug, 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 dug. But
and
yeah,
especially people like you and me, we always run the risk of artist telling us to our face, nothing about creativity, so
absolutely.
Hands off.
yes, I've been told that many times.
So yeah, we should also understand how.
That's where I was saying this industry is not black and white. It's always
it's all gray.
Different shades of gray. We could be 150 shades of gray.
So many great ideas or thoughts that you have put forward, and I believe those are something which is really, we have to be mindful about those thoughts as we move forward. And for me personally, it has been a pleasure to have been working with you over the last 1 year, and
likewise.
And I look forward to many more successful years, and I hope we can create magic in the next few
Same
years.
math but different magic.
Yes,
we will be doing that.
Thank you so much for your time and great thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.